This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto. Hello everyone, and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with more of our What If F1 Went To series. Yes, of course, we returned with this mini sort of fun series that I like to do last week out. Of course, if you missed on that video, I would definitely recommend going back and checking out. Yes, we returned with a bit of an interesting challenge from Sonoma Raceway in America. Like I said, that was very good fun. I felt like in the end we managed to extract a good amount of time out of the car, and yeah, although Sonoma is never ever going to happen in Formula 1, it was certainly interesting to see just how we got on. But today though, we not only head to a track that has hosted Formula 1 races in the past, we actually head back to a track that I desperately want to see re-host of Formula 1 Grand Prix. Yes, we're back at Fuji for this week's challenge. Of course, a pretty recent addition to the iRacing platform. I think Magni Core is still in the works as well, so hopefully when that drops, I will definitely be doing a video around there. But Fuji, I honestly believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's only ever hosted 4 Grand Prix, and at least 3 of them have been pretty memorable in their own rights. Of course, 1975... I don't really know much about that race, I'll be honest. 1976, of course, was the championship decider between James Hunt and Niki Lauda, of course, in torrential conditions. And then, of course, we had 2007 and 2008, where Suzuka was off due to upgrades to the facilities. Both of those races were very memorable in their own right. So I think 2007, you had the titanic battle between Robert Kubica and Felipe Massa. 2008, of course, you had Alonso winning his 2nd race in a row. We don't often talk about the other race he won in 2008. But again, of course, you know, Hamilton, Massa, they just absolutely went to war that weekend, you know, took each other out, everything like that. You know, it was an absolutely insane Grand Prix. So Fuji's had a pretty good run of Formula 1 races in the past, and I think especially with the 2022 race, you know, it's a very wide open circuit. You know, you got that huge run down towards turn 1. I think with the new cars, it could actually be a very good track for Formula 1 racing to return to, because don't get me wrong, I like Suzuka, but it's certainly, I think, very much holding on to its place in Formula 1 thanks to its prestige more than its ability to race around, because it's not a particularly wide open circuit. You know, it is very small by modern Formula 1 standards. But of course, yeah, Fuji and Suzuka though, Japan's got quite a few iconic tracks. You know, I really want to actually go to, I can never remember the name of the other Japanese circuit. They used to host the Pacific Grand Prix, wasn't it? Back in the 90s. It wasn't Tsukuba. It was, oh, that's going to really bug me. I'm sure I'll get it in a minute. But yeah, back at Fuji though today. Like I said, you know, genuinely I feel like this is right up there. If, you know, it'd probably be top 5 of tracks I'd like to see Formula 1 return to in the near future, because, you know, I certainly think, you know, Japan's got a big enough audience that, you know, you could try and get 2 Grand Prix out of it. Even if they kind of ran, you know, like Nürburgring and Hockenheim did for quite a few years, where they each host like a Grand Prix each year, I think that could work out really well as well. But I think, to be honest, there's probably a little bit of underhand play from Suzuka going, well, I've got the Grand Prix, and there's a very good chance that Fuji would host a better Grand Prix, so we'd rather just not allow them to have the opportunity in the first place, of course. But as always, though, we've returned once more in last year's Mercedes W11. I'm very intrigued to see what times we're going to be able to get around this venue as well today. But of course, if you're new around here as well, make sure you get yourself subscribed for daily Formula 1 content. You know, at the moment, we're trying to get quite far ahead on videos, so I've got no idea what sort of sub count we're on at the moment, but thank you guys nonetheless for the support on the channel. You know, 2022 has just been a bonkers year so far, and we've still got a few more months to go before the year comes to a close. So I'm just going to quickly just take out the ERS mode, just to make sure, obviously, we got enough battery next time round. But yeah, I'm kind of thinking, you know, Fuji shouldn't be as difficult a track as Sonoma was last time. But yeah, as I was saying, I don't think this is going to be anywhere near as difficult as Sonoma. Of course, Sonoma is very much just basically a go-kart track in something like a Formula 1 car. Fuji, you know, is completely designed, you know, for big race cars. Of course, you got World Endurance still comes here. Super GT, of course, Japan's premier open-wheel series as well. You know, I'd love to be able to watch more of that if it wasn't, of course, pretty much always in the middle of the night here in Europe. But yeah, safe to say, you know, Fuji, it certainly doesn't quite get the F1 love I think it deserves, but it certainly deserves a little bit nonetheless there. We're just trying to put the car into a proper ERS mode there as we just dip a wheel on the grass. But let's go for our first attacking lapping then here of the circuit. Want to be braking just after the 100-meter board there as you tip it in through turn 1 there. First gear hairpin. Turn 2 is pretty much not a corner, and I'm intrigued to see whether turn 3 will be the same there. You're definitely going to have to drop it down 1 gear through turn 3 as I got a horrible run through turn 4. Again, completely flat out in a modern Formula 1 car. Keep the car right over to the right-hand side. Third gear as you head through the next 90-degree left there. And then you really want to try and actually use the exit curb because it gives you the shortest run down in towards the hairpin here. Slowest corner on the lap. This is really difficult actually to try and get the car rotated through these next couple of corners, especially as you don't want to do it in first gear there. And then through the final sector of the lap, you know, the car's all over the place underneath you as you try and get the car. You know, there's a lot of late apexes around this late part of the circuit. You know, you're really just trying to make sure the nose bites up. Can be very difficult to do so, though, quite consistently. You know, it's honestly a bit like the Hockenheim drag strip that we remember from a couple of years ago in Formula 1. But down towards start-finish line then. First proper lap here from Fuji. That's going to be a 1:15.2. So definitely, you know, I reckon we could probably look in towards the 30s as we'll get the car once again nicely tipped in through turn 1. Whoa! Still trying to break free in 5th gear there on the exit. As you flick it in through turn 2, they want to get as close to that pole on the inside there, but that's a nice tidy run through turn 3 there as we head up back through turn 4. So 3rd gear through there, try to avoid the sausage curb on the inside, and then you just ride the throttle on the exit there once again. Don't quite, I think, yeah, no, you can hit 8th gear through there as you want to try and get the car slowed down just as you go under the gantry. Going to try and leave it in 2nd gear once we've got the nose rotated. And then really concentrate as you head back up the hill. You know, it's a very short circuit, Fuji, but especially during the second lap, half of the lap, the corners really do come thick and fast there. As again, that was a lot tidier. Of course I spin as I'm literally saying the word tidier on iRacing. Would I do anything else? I don't think so. I am very tempted as well, actually, to give, once we've sort of done this challenge, actually go around and attempt the track without the chicane down in towards this next corner, because, yeah, I mean, you flick it through there in sort of 6th gear, I would imagine, in a Formula 1 car. That will certainly be a very interesting test as well, but yeah, I think, you know, if Formula 1 was ever to come back here, I'm sure they would still keep this double hairpin. Just, you know, adds a little bit of extra technicality. And like I said, you know, we've seen so many battles going through there as well. I really need to change up my binds on iRacing so I can actually change the MGUK mode through my wheel at some point. I mean, we've only been doing this series for the better part of 8 months, and I still have never got round to that. But final corner then. Let's try and go for another proper attack mode lap here from Fuji. Late apex out of the final corner. Of course, you can really set yourself up. You've got Mount Fuji in the background there as you head through the final corner. You really are not far away from the mountain, but up towards the start-finish line then. Let's try this again and see now if we can try and get closer. Like I said, I reckon a 1:13 is certainly doable here, and let's just see how close to that I can get. It's definitely not going to be too brave on the brakes at turn 1. You know, the track does fall away from you, so you've got to be super careful as you cycle back up through the gears. Like I said, up into 7th gear there, and then just, oh no, not even down 1. Oh, that was a little bit ragged, but we didn't get a 1x for it, so apparently you can do that on iRacing, so apparently that is completely pinned there. I worry that I've damaged the floor, though, in the process, as the car definitely seemed to struggle heading through turn 4 there, but around the rest of the lap, we'll see. I mean, really, the good test will be through the final few corners of the circuit there. It's again really slow in towards the hairpin. They're still super difficult to try and put the power down, despite all the grip that these modern Formula 1 cars provide you. I mean, imagine coming around here, back in the V8s, of course, that 1 year where you had groove tyres and no traction control. There's the car still wanting to try and rotate round on me. Oh, it didn't quite connect with the apex through the final corner, but up towards the line, though, we've had a pretty good run off the corner. And I mean, you really only just get a whole lap out of the battery here. Up towards the start-finish line, though, once more. That's going to be a 13.8, so there we go then, immediately down to where I wanted to. And yes, certainly a much easier challenge than Sonoma last time. And of course, 2.8 miles as well, you know, so a slightly longer circuit than Sonoma. And lap time's only 8 seconds away, but yeah, a very, very different challenge. Of course, Sonoma was kind of just trying to get the car slowed down, trying to hang on over, obviously, the big elevation changes. Fuji, although it's not a flat track by any means, you know, the second half of the lap is very Sonoma-esque. The first half is really just all about power and speed. You know, it is certainly, you know, it'd be difficult to try and set up a car around here as well, of course, because you need the wing through those final few corners of the lap. You know, around the first half of the lap, you know, overtaking incredibly easy when you've got a big straight like that, but also means if you're running too much wing, it's incredibly easy to get jumped as well. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take out the last little bit of fuel out of the car. We'll then jump into one final big run, and then I'm going to try and do a couple of laps around the other layout without that hairpin. Because I reckon, you know, we won't quite... Yeah, we could get closer towards the 1 minute. I think we'll be looking sort of around the same time as we did at Sonoma. Anyway, we'll take out the last bit of fuel, get the battery all charged up, and we'll go for one big final run then. A lot simpler around Fuji than Sonoma. A lot less dramatics, but still, what a roller coaster. And I can very happily just confirm that my mother's just texted me going, Okayama was the Pacific Grand Prix all those years ago, so definitely going to take this Formula 1 car there as well some point in the future, but trying to just get it all set up ready then for this final lap. Make sure we've got the tyres somewhere. I mean, I don't really know what operating window we need them on, to be honest, but we'll see how much lower we can go then than a 1:13 out. I mean, really, I'm losing most of the time, I would have thought, through the second half of the lap, but we'll go back into qualifying mode then through the final corners. Nice best run out the final turn there as you try and put well over 1,000 horsepower into the ground, and let's try and really sweat them. One lap here from Fuji. How fast can we get this Mercedes around this circuit? And I think, yeah, today hasn't proved how much we need Fuji back. I don't know what will. Might have taken a bit too much curb through turn 1 there. I think we've ripped the rear left off. We've probably done the rear right as well. Let's have a look at that one back then as we went through turn 1. I broke actually too early there because he had to correct myself on the curb. And I mean, we did do pretty well to catch the initial slide. Yeah, that rear wheel definitely is not hanging on there anymore. Maybe I'm just going to need a couple of attempts like I did at Sonoma last week to really try and get the car, you know, around the lap with a time that I'm happy with. Oh, we've got a bit ragged in the second half of the lap there, but up towards the line, what is the time gonna be? I think there was definitely a couple more tenths on the table, but up towards the checkered flag, it's gonna be a 13.5 there, which was pretty much where I targeted. I think, yeah, sensibly that could have been about a 13.3, and I think, yeah, really ultimate pace for us could have probably been towards the 112s there. But again, you know, just like so many tracks in this series, you kind of go into them, get a couple of fairly decent laps in, things all seem quite easy, and then when you're really trying to extract that time out of the car, things can get a whole lot more difficult. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed for more iRacing content as well on the channel. I think next week out, we're going to be changing things up. We're going to be actually heading over to Circuit Zolder in Belgium, so definitely make sure you get yourself subscribed for that one. But yeah, as always, I'm going to leave you guys then with a Halo T-Cam lap, and then yeah, we'll jump in with some of the fails it took me to try and get that final lap in. We did well not to hit anything there, but that was not fun. Ria's just completely broke loose at 195 miles an hour. The amount of warm-up laps I'm doing at the moment, just to bottle it down at turn 1, is becoming increasingly frustrating. No way we've got damage. I can see one of the wheels is pointing the wrong way. Yeah, turn 3 is not completely pinned. No, not now, not ever in this car, unless I upped it by a huge amount of wing. Well, how was that helpful? I can't even take it out of quali mode. It won't let me go out of quali mode. Not going to be able to save much battery doing that, am I, iRacing? Don't know how I kept that out of a wall, but we'll take it. I've also learnt that apparently now I cannot take the car. I can put it into an ERS mode, but then I can't take it back out again. So I can leave it on no deploy on the outlap, but if I want to change it, I have to go completely into the car settings now. I think we might be breaking iRacing slightly. Oh, no. Now I can put the car in different ERS modes again, though, so I think iRacing is kind of getting a bit confuddled with the Merc. But that was so annoying. We've done so well on that lap. But definitely I feel like a mid-third. I reckon a 13.5 is the goal. There's 3 corners I seem to struggle with on this track. Turn 1, turn 3, and then... what's that? 7? 8? I don't know. I want to get one more lap dialed in before this is over. Where? What? How did I damage the wing? What was that? Oh, I'm going to have to go back and watch that on replay. Was it when I went over a sausage go? I actually did, didn't I? Look at that. I've completely twisted the front end. I mean, that's impressive. Let's have a look at that on slow-mo. Look at that. Ready? Over the... I mean, this is iRacing for you. We just bounced it over the curb there, and we've completely caved the wing in. If Formula 1 does go back here, you're going to have to be careful of that, I suppose. I haven't made a mistake through there so far. Tried to take a bit of a line on the way, a bit of a different line on the way in, and then just, of course, wedged it over the curb. We can talk about these 2021 cars being absolute missiles around a track, but you really have to put them in the right spot. I mean, more than any other Formula 1 car, I think, of recent times. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.